Now with more Peppo.
Ready, Freddy?
Okay, so Steven and I were just on our way out to that junkyard that we love so much.
Hey, it ain't junk. It's quality stuff.
The used car parts warehouse that we love so much. We're in the wife's new car, her little Pursuit. Got to get a new strut for it and possibly a control arm. And then we're gonna check out that old Country Squire wagon if it's there and see if it's got the last of the brake parts I need for the Galaxie. We figure it's worth a try, and we're gonna give you guys a look at next year's plan. Now that things have changed so much with COVID, we've come up with a new dastardly plan, and we're gonna let you guys in on it. So here's hoping.
Well, we are recording. Hello.
Hello.
That is circle, Mike. You dumb. Learn your shapes.
To the blinking light.
Nuh-uh. Go back to elementary school, you nerd. What if you ripped the engine out of it?
You don't want that V6. Wrong style mount.
Oh, hey, the 429's been pulled out of this.
Yeah.
Sick.
I wonder if one of those old Ford vans or trucks would use the same.
Not in this era, though. That'd be way older than these.
I don't know.
Because this Ford is probably still a dual.
It's only 20 years different, not even 20 years. This is the early 90s. Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah, no, like you're...
It's all bolts now.
I think Dodge was the last one to keep going in the early 90s for that stupid style of brakes. You take a picture of me?
No, I sent it to video. I knew what you were doing. I could see it on my phone.
Well, I would hope so.
Okay. Big plans, maybe. Big announcements. We were planning on building up that Galaxie to maybe go do Rocky Mountain Race Week next year. But with the way things have gone this year, what with the pandemic and everything else, and that car not quite being in as good a shape as we were hoping, we've kind of put that plan off. But we both decided to take a break from our regular project cars that take a lot of time and a lot of money, and we're gonna do
Race cars.
we're gonna do drag cars. We're gonna try to anyway. I have an old '86 Chevette two-door that I'm gonna give to Steven because I'm such a nice guy. It's already been stripped. I think all the glass is there except for the windshield. Needs some suspension work, but that doesn't matter because it's all gonna get changed anyway. But you want to tell them what you're doing with it?
That thing, I'm gonna go with a 5.7 Hemi.
Because you have a spare.
Got a spare one laying around. I got a spare ECU for it. Might as well.
So we're thinking maybe 727 behind the Hemi in the Chevette so that he can have his Hemi Firebird and he can have a Hemi Vet. I was going to use that four-door Acadian that I had in a couple videos ago, but it turns out we come out here today to look at it and he sold it 2 weeks ago. So at least it went somewhere. It didn't go to the crush pile. The guys who bought it, they actually have a four-door Nova or Chevy 2, I guess, that they were racing for drag racing, and I guess they wrecked it, so they bought this one to convert into a drag car, which is the same as what I was going to do. So I'm happy. I'm not even mad because I really didn't want to see that car get crushed. But we need some input from the viewers, from you guys. We need to know, we're thinking about taking this 49 Chevy and this 50 Pontiac and kind of making one car out of two. I'll still have to find a driver's door. We're going to use the Chevy because the roof on the Pontiac has kind of been crumpled. But it looks like the rear window and the trunk off the Pontiac are going to fit. And my plan is long term, I want to go gasser with it. So I'm not even worried about a hood. We're going to pull the suspension off the front that's mangled anyway. And I'm probably going to look at a Speedway Motors straight axle for the front. And we'll probably build some sort of axle for the back end, whether we do a 9-inch or an 8/8 or something. I don't know yet. I'll show you the car again here. So of course, no driver's door, no windshield. Not a big deal. We can get a windshield, Lexan or whatever. I'm putting a call out for whoever's got a door for, I don't know, 49, 50, Pontiac or Chevy for sure. Look to be the same door. This is definitely a Chevy Deluxe. We just ran the VIN. We know it's a 49. So if anybody has a door, knows where there is a door for a, well, cheap price, because I'm cheap. Our whole plan on these cars is to go cheap.
Cheap, greasy horsepower.
If you come over here, Steven. As you can see, the floor is pretty rough. Not a big deal. That Acadian needed a floor too, so we'll probably end up doing our own floor in it. We'll have to put a column in it, but we're probably just going to put a race column of some sort. You can get them so cheap, it's not even funny. We'll gut all this heater and intake stuff out of here, and it actually opens up pretty good. And the plan is, I've got that 454 in the garage that I took apart. I'm looking for crank and rods for it for a decent price. It's just a 2-bolt main 454. I don't want to go crazy with it, but I want to build up the 454 and put it in here and make a drag car. I might even start with just a plain Jane small block and a power glide. Steven has a 72 Ventura and it's got a 305 and a power glide. We might even just stuff that in just to get it running. But there's plenty of room in here, and we're going to end up having to take the inner fenders out too, because we're going to do fender exit headers, especially when we go gasser. Get that front end up in the air, and I think it's going to look pretty good. Because it's already missing some stuff, there's lots of room for a radiator. We can do stuff with that. Once we get it off the ground, we'll have a good look at this front suspension. I think, Steven, if you show him that side, it's already pretty mangled. But anyway, we'll probably end up pulling this bracing out and doing some tube bracing in this front end, because we're going to have to run tubes across anyway for strength. And I'm not worried about a hood, because if I'm going gasser, I don't need a hood. If we come around to the back and you come over to this side and you peek in, she is a leaf spring car already, so I'll just get a different set of leaves and lift this back end up a bit. Because if you look at a gasser, the nose points to the air, but the back end's also off the ground quite a bit. And actually, that'll enable me to fit a fairly decent sized tire. And if you look down in here, we're going to change this little diff anyway, and it's a torque tube. It doesn't even have a drive shaft because of the age. It's still got the old torque tube. So all that's got to be gutted and changed anyway. The trunk, we're going to end up stripping out the trunk, and we'll put a firewall panel in, and we'll get the battery and the fuel cell back here. Or I'm thinking the old gasser style with that little aluminum tank on the front for fuel would look pretty cool too. I'm not too worried about the body. Body's not great, but it's a drag car. It's not a show car. Who cares? As long as the frame is good, and if it's not, we can always strengthen it, because this is old enough it's a full frame car, which is the beauty of it. That makes it so much easier to put that gas or front axle in. We'll just have to fab up mounts for our spring. But I mean, it's got some dings and dents and rust, but this is Alberta. This is car driven in the winter. I mean, it's a 49, so what's that, 71 years old now? So I don't think it's that bad. Anyway, that's our plan. I really want some input on this. I'm gonna put some stuff out on Instagram, and we'll see if we can get some guys, or gals for that matter. Get your opinion, get your ideas. I'm open to them. And as long as I can afford to do them, I'm 100% open to them. But like I said, main things are get a floor in it, get a door, get an axle, and then I think we'll just stuff that power glide and that 305 in it, or a 350, or If I can find another cheap 454 that runs, maybe I'll just stuff the 454 in for now. And the idea we're going after with these is just get them running. Make them work. Who cares if it's a 23-second quarter mile? It's a starting point. It gives you somewhere to start. We can always add horsepower. We can always put in trans brakes. We can always get a better converter. We can always change rear gears. The main thing for now is just get it going. So now we're going to get Steven's opinion, because I like to dream in the out there. He's a little more down, like understands what's going on, can see the problems a little better than I can. Well, so Steven, what do you think? What do you think the hurdles are going to be? Where do you think the problems are going to be? Where do you think the most work's going to be? Do you think that you and I have the skill and the equipment to do the job?
Well,
let's start with that.
Well,
Steven, do you think I can do this with your help?
Okay, so the skill.
Well, we lack in skill, we make up for it in enthusiasm.
Yeah, and you know, like time-wise, we got all the time in the world. It's doable. My biggest concerns are finding parts for these things, because
my time crunch on it is, I just want it to start and drive by the time the snow falls next year.
Which, no, that...
So that's October?
I'm
November?
fairly confident we can do that. Now, converting around the rear end, trying to find a set of leaf springs that'll work, I mean, we're going to be mounting our own purchase.
That's easy. We can custom order rear springs.
And that's...
We can call City Spring, give them our sizes. That's not a big deal. I'm not worried about that.
As far as things go, a lot of it's just custom. If we can find the parts that we need that are missing, it wouldn't be a problem. And this, honestly, would be a cool project to get going and see how far we can advance it over time. Like, see how fast we can go.
The other thing is, the beauty of doing drag cars, we don't have to worry about all the electrical for lights and this and that. As long as we got an engine that starts, a battery that charges, brakes that work,
and a body that's there,
a frame that's strong enough to handle it, we're good.
Yeah, we're not looking for, these aren't beauty pageants, so that's not really a care to us. It's just all about, it's just gonna be a lot of time. We can do it.
I'm excited to have a car I don't have to worry about having a nice interior and make sure it's comfortable and all this, that, and the other thing. Steven has a spare race seat. That's all I need. That's the other thing. These aren't going to be fast, so I don't have to put a cage in it right away. I don't have to do belts. Like, that's the nice part.
And another nice thing about these drag cars making this and the Chevette is the one nice fact of we expect it's going to break. We're not building something that we hope is going to be perfect. We're building something that when it breaks, it doesn't piss us off because we're like, yeah, well,
when it breaks, we're not into it for $40,000.
It's not going to hurt us. We're going to be like, well, we honestly expected this.
I realize I could probably get a better starting car, like a better car to start with to do this project. But the difference is the price. We just quick went on Kijiji, which is Canadian Craigslist. And anything in about this age that has all the doors and a trunk on it is in about the same shape, really. Most of them don't have an engine. If they do, it's seized. And they want between $1,500 and $8,000 for them in this shape. And most of them are 4-doors. There was one on there for $5,000 in this shape as a 4-door. So I don't think that's that bad. Like, I haven't talked to the guy yet. I don't know what he's going to give me for a price, but I'm pretty sure he'll give the two of them for me for like $250 and just bring back what I don't use. So, I mean, like, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
What else, Steven? What do you think about the powertrain? What do you think about my plans for that?
Initial plans, obviously I don't like because I like going fast and 305s are not fast.
but it's in your Ventura that was your drag racing car. So I don't even feel bad.
Well, it's in my Ventura.
And we had a good laugh about this the other day because that 305, as soon as I get the 454 together, we're going to put nitrous probably to that 305. And we're going to see how much it can take.
We're going to go push that 305 until it can't push no more. Now,
and if we can't blow it up with nitrous, we'll come up with some other way.
There's one very nice thing about that combination in it. With a full tank of gas, doing bracket racing, you can set your your time. You'll never break it. You'll never beat it until you're consistent as heck. Until you burn enough fuel off, and then you have enough weight gone where you can actually break the tires loose.
That's the other thing. I'm going to have to measure up this axle if this is the plan we go with. And I'm looking for input on it because I'm not going to pick it up today anyway. Like, if I want the car, I'll just tell the guy I want the car. And as soon as I get space for it and stuff, we can get it, and a way to get it there, I'll get it picked up, I'll get it put in my garage, and we'll start measuring stuff. I'm hoping I can find an axle on Kijiji that's got the right width, 9-inch, 8.8, whatever. Could be out of an S10, one of those weak 8.5-inch S10 diffs for now, because the 305 ain't going to blow it up. And I mean, you can get it in there and you can get it set up so it works. And then all you got to do is weld on perches and shock mounts, get your pinion angle right. So I'm not too worried about that. Because like I said, 305 ain't going to blow it up. Even my 454, chances are I'm going to build that 454 for cheap. Like, chances are it's going to be like a 300 horse 454 to start with. It's not going to be impressive. And then as money and time comes, I'm going to improve it. And I think that's the fun in it. It's nice to just build an 800 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower engine and stuff it in, or take an LS and stuff it in. And Lord knows there's 6 of them here that I can have for cheap.
Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar. But everybody does LS, and I kind of want to go for that nostalgic gasser thing. And my plan is eventually a tunnel ram, and then a blower if I win the lottery.
Nice 871.
871.
Out the hood.
But I mean, I think if it gets to that point, I would get a tall deck block, or at least a 4-bolt bottom end block to do.
Nah, you slap it on the 2-bolt and just let her go until she goes.
What else, Stephen? What do you think about the fabricating for the floor and the front end work and the axle? What's your opinion on that?
So fabricating for floor, not concerned about that in the slightest. It's just going to take time. A lot of
and the nice thing about
fitting.
that is we only have to do the main floor for now. And like, who knows? Like, it's tough to tell this thing's so full of garbage. I imagine half the floor's gone. That's just how things are around here.
Like, surprisingly, it doesn't look the worst.
And I mean, worst case Ontario, I can take the steering column out of the Pontiac.
Yeah.
Hopefully the trunk off the Pontiac fits. The rear glass I'm hoping fits. And then I just got to do front glass as far as that goes. And then a floor, and the body's good enough. You put that firewall panel in, you only have to rivet it in to for the trunk to keep it so that it's fire safe.
Yeah. And all your...
The biggest hurdle, in my opinion, is brakes.
And honestly, I don't think brakes...
But there's a great big opening right here. And I'm thinking, even if we went up to like a square body Chevy and we pull the pedal assembly out, I think we can fab it in.
Oh, yeah, easy enough.
And then you just take a square body Chevy master cylinder, $20.
Yeah.
Like, not a big deal. And like, those axle kits come with brakes and everything, discs. Whatever we get for a rear end, we'll have brakes there.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned. Chances are there'll be drums in the back, which doesn't matter. 14-second car, 25-second car. The drums would stop it.
Yeah, just go 4-corner drums for it.
But I want your opinion. Do you think it's a cool car? I know you're not into these
Well, this
so
is
much.
kind of
You're more of a 60s and 70s guy.
This is kind of a staggered opinion for me. I like them. They are, by all means, they're cool cars.
They have
enjoy
a great
seeing 'em.
body line to them. That
Personally-
rear end is so good looking on these.
But personally, down to it, I would never own one. I am not that attached to these body styles. Like he says, I'm more into the late 60s to the mid to late 70s. I'm more into that muscle car era. And like the late tail end of the 70s had a couple.
But I showed Steven some pictures of some gassers in this body style. I think they look so cool, especially a 2-door.
No.
Like, and the nice thing about it is, once we get them running, get them so we're happy with them, we can add wiring for lights. We can make them streetable. But like, in the meantime, who cares?
Yeah.
They're just drag cars.
They've got our
Open
daily
headers.
cars.
Like, I'm thinking, take the inner fenders out and fender well headers, like full gasser style. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm going to be looking for a door for sure if this is the way we go. Like, if we look through the comments and the stuff I put on Instagram, which, by the way, at Barkley Built on Instagram.
I don't have an Instagram. I'm not that cool.
Oh, Steven doesn't have an Instagram, but at Barkley Built on Instagram.
I'm still old school. I have Facebook, and that's it.
And we'll see if we can get some opinions on that and see if we can locate a door. That's the biggest hurdle, and we were talking about that. And Steven, tell him our plan if we can't find a door.
Well, we got 2 plans. 1 is roll cage and net. 2, classic plywood.
Because, I mean, you look at Leroy, he has no doors, but you got bars and you got nets and you got arm restraints. So if that's what we have to do, that's what we're going to do.
We're going
I don't
Jeep
even
style.
care if I don't have a window in the door. I will put a net in because I'm a fat guy. I run hot anyway. I don't want a window.
And these are race cars, so
They're race cars. They're not street cars. But yeah, like that's my idea. That's the way we're kind of leaning. I was actually, when we got out here and we're walking around, where's that Acadian? Where's that Acadian? We went and we looked in the crush pile. We couldn't find it there. And like I was kind of a little bit crushed because like we thought it must have gone to the crusher or something. And then so we went and talked to the owner and he's like, oh no, I sold it like 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay, well that makes sense. Which, like I said, it just makes me happy. I wanted to use it because I didn't want to see it disappear. And that's my plan with this one too. I want to use it because you don't find them. They don't make them anymore. I think it's cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they made these things still. They could buy like a 2020 model.
Yeah, 2020 49 Chevy.
It's the throwback edition.
But yeah, like, I mean, ideas, whatever you guys think, like, I'm open to it. If I can make it happen and I like it, I'll shout you out in the video. I'll let you know, like, hey, so-and-so had a great idea. This is what I'm going to do. But anyway, that's the plan, guys. Look for some more changes coming up. Chances are I'm moving here right away. So, different garage without heat, much smaller, and Steven's barn.
And we're closer to each other, so we can just like do whatever and just stumble home.
Yeah,
like,
stumble, have a couple frosty
blocks
cold
away.
beverages and walk 4 blocks home. But yeah, that's the idea. That's the plan. Other thing is, I think it's going to make great content. 2 drag cars.
Oh yeah.
The only thing is, I gave him my Chevette. It's supposed to be at my parents' house. I haven't been there in a few years. I don't know if it's still there. So, his plan is the Chevette because, like, it's a 2-door even. Like, it's a cool little hatchback car. They're already rear-wheel drive. So, it's already got the trans tunnel. I have, or at least I had, a set of competition engineering tubs, like for a mini tub kit. So once we strip the diff and torque tube out of that, Steven has a 9-inch that we're going to narrow up probably.
No.
Use a 9-inch in it, tub the rear end, and we got to do something with that front suspension. They're a McPherson strut, and it's a small engine bay because of that. But we're thinking if you do a tube front end on it to hold the fenders, and the suspension points, we'll probably just do coilovers, and we might even reuse the factory bottom A-arms in that car, but we got to do something about spindles. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the front end on a Chevette. The spindles are about as big around as my pinky, and the disc brakes, it has disc brakes. They're solid steel, non-vented, itty-bitty rotors about this big, look like they belong on a motorbike. But, so we're hoping that thing's still there. I'm going to send him there to pick it up and get all the parts for it, and we'll get it set up in his barn. If that falls through, he has a backup plan, and if that ends up coming to that, we'll keep you guys posted on it. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share it with all your friends. Like, we want to get people seeing these things happen. People see that you can do stuff for cheap that you want to do. It doesn't have to be beautiful. You just got to make it as best you can with what you can afford and make it safe. Like, we're not going to screw around with the suspension and brakes and not make it safe, because it's not just my life in the car, it's everybody I run over. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards that front axle kit with brakes and everything. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to catch the next one.
Hey, Pacho. Look at the Pacho. I still do like that Dakota.
Make a drag car out of it.
It's got the rear window louvers, you know? If I wasn't doing the Chevette, I would.
The Chevette is still way cooler.
Yeah, honestly, little tiny car.